The DC-10 needs no introduction. It looks like the final boss. It just gives off that aura, you know? And like many final bosses in video games, it was deadly, but not in the way you probably think I mean. I'm not talking about American Flight 191 or Turkish Airlines Flight 981. This has been beaten to a pulp by the planes are scary clown club. I mean that it killed McDonnell Douglas as a company and indirectly led to the 737 MAX crisis. So, the DC-10 was cutting edge for its time, there's no doubt about it, and its order book reflected that. McDonnell Douglas sold 386 DC-10s. Not bad. They were expecting to sell about 750, including the 60 KC-10s they sold to the military, but they sold a total of 446, so 59% of their goal, or a high F. Failure! They did make a little profit. Their break-even point was 438 planes sold. So, they made a little money, but not much. This low sales issue was mainly due to competition with the L-1011. The market just wasn't big enough for two tri-jets, especially with the 767 and A300 coming out in 1982 and 1974 respectively, making airlines want the efficiency of two engines compared to three. And with ETOPS letting twin jets fly over large bodies of water, before this, a tri-jet was necessary because people like the FAA and EASA fear that a twin jet couldn't glide far enough to cross oceans, as well as a tri-jet, because at the time, jet engines were smaller and less powerful, because that's how they reduced fuel burn. Well, how did that kill McDonnell Douglas? It didn't directly kill the company, but McDonnell Douglas refused to make a new clean sheet plane. Instead, they just stretched the DC-10 with the MD-11. Why would they do this? The executives didn't want to risk money on a new aircraft and just wanted to upgrade and upgrade. Sound familiar? It's probably nothing. So, the MD-11 flopped and McDonnell Douglas was almost broke. So, they made a deal with Boeing to merge their companies. Fun fact, saying Boeing MD-11 is technically true because there was still MD-11s that needed to be built when the merger took effect. So, Boeing built some MD-11s. It was the same people who were working on them for McDonnell Douglas, just under a new name. A part of the deal was that McDonnell Douglas executives would still have jobs, so their mindset, the one that killed their previous company, still stuck around. And that mindset was why spend money to make new, better planes when we have old designs that we can just upgrade. They did it with the MD-80 and it worked. So they did it with the DC-10. They stretched it, barely worked, and they're about to do it again. The thing is, they did this with relatively new plane families, not the ancient 737, which was designed 47 years before this redo. Whereas for the MD-80, it was 14 years after the DC-9 was first designed. So, already a bad start for this plane. We're just forking out the money and making a narrow-body jet to go with the 787 program would have been better, but no. Obviously, upgrading an upgrade of an upgrade is way better, and it would never lead to any problems. But what do I know? I'm just an aviation nerd. Well, to the surprise of the new, okay, you can't see this, but on the script, I put new in air quotes because the MD executives had been at Boeing for about 14 years. But, to their surprise, the 737 MAX had issues that killed trust in Boeing that is just now being restored. I just wanted this to be a simple history of the DC-10, not whatever this unhinged video is now.